Hello, welcome to this tutorial for MeducationDC. My name is Dr. Charles Lee, and I'm the founder and president of Polyglot Systems, the developer of this program. This video will provide a brief overview of some of the features and capabilities in beta release 0.9 of MeducationDC. This release can be found at the URL beta.medukationdc.com. MeducationDC is a software program designed for healthcare systems so that they can provide personalized discharge instructions for patients in multiple languages. Users at each beta site require an account ID and password to register for the very first time. This information is available from the primary contact for this project at each organization. If you do not know who your primary contact is, please email me at lee@pgsi.com and include your organization's name. Once you enter in your account ID and password, you will come to this registration screen. Please enter the information on the screen and click the button at the bottom to register. The next time you enter MeducationDC, you will use your email address and password that you selected. This is the start page for MeducationDC. Your account information is shown on the left-hand side. To log out, click the Log Out link. To provide feedback or to recommend new phrases, click on the Send Beta Feedback to Dr. Lee link. This will launch your email application. MeducationDC is designed to be an integrated solution with your existing EHR system. However, this beta version is a standalone solution. If you wish to include patient name on any handouts, you have that option by entering that patient's information in the boxes shown here. To create a personalized discharge instruction, select the Discharge tab and then select whether the individual is a child or an adult or teen. Next, select the condition that the patient has and then click Print. This generates a PDF document using an existing template of pre-selected items within our system. Note that the patient's name is added to the top as shown here. Note that for each category on the left-hand side, congestive heart failure includes several items related to each category. For instance, activity has 4 items associated with it. These include 4 information related to activity, 2 related to exercise, 1 related to position while sleeping, and 1 associated with position of their feet. If I now wish to add additional information for this particular individual, for instance, I may wish for them to walk for 10 minutes 3 times a day, and then to slowly increase the amount that they walk to build up their strength and endurance, I am able to do so. If I now go to print this information, those instructions have been added to the instructions for this patient. If I now want to individualize this instruction to include follow-up information, I can tell the patient that I need to see the patient again in 2 weeks, that the next appointment with us is on a specific time and date, and that our telephone number is, and then I can go ahead and print that as well. If I want to include information in a different language, I can select a language and then print. If I now want to print this in dual column format, I can select dual column and then select print. The instructions in the drop-down box as shown here can be configured for each individual user. To do that, go to the Instructions tab. All of the instructions for teens and adults and for children appear on the screen as shown here. If I wish to remove any condition, so let's say I want to remove abrasion because I never see abrasions, I have the option of clicking the down arrow, which puts this into Polyglot's library as shown here. If I wish to add this back at a later time, I can click on the up arrow, and then it becomes added back into my list. You'll notice that there is a My Saved instruction. This list allows you to save your own modifications to instructions and then be able to retrieve them at a later time. Let's see how that works. If I go under Discharge, I can create a new template. I can add instructions, for instance, to rest as much as possible, to increase physical activity and exercise regularly as if possible, to eat a heart-healthy diet, and to lower the amount of sodium in their diet. I can come under Devices, and under Bathroom and Personal Care, ask the patient to use grab bars while getting in and out of the toilet and bathtub. I can come under Call Return, and to call if their fever is greater than 101, and to return if it's greater than 102. I can now come under Breathing and select Wheezing and Trouble Breathing. If I want the patient to return if they have wheezing, I can click on this call icon, and this changes to return. These buttons cycle through call, return, and 911. Let's see what this looks like in English. As you see, all of the items that we selected shows as seen here. I can now go ahead and save this template by going to the lower right corner and clicking Save. I can give it a name. And then I have two save options. I can select it to go directly to the instructions list, or I can save to my library. Let's go ahead and save this to my instructions. As you can see, the template that I just created is shown here. If I select on that template, all of the items that we selected is shown. Then we can print this in any of the other languages. If you chose to save to instructions, the instruction will get added to this list. If you come back to the Instructions tab, you will notice that your instructions does not appear down here. If you chose to save to the library, that instruction would have shown here. Let's create a second template based on the first one. If I now go to Save Again, and I call this version 2, if I save to the library and come back to Instructions, you will see that that version now appears in my library, but does not appear at the top. This is a very powerful feature in that you can start with one of the templates that's already in the system, make modifications, and then save that modifications for later use. In the upcoming Beta 1 release, you will have the option of sharing your templates with others in your organization or with other organizations throughout the country. The Medicine tab is designed to provide a customized medication regimen summary for each individual patient in all the supported languages. If MeducationDC is integrated with your EHR system, all the medicines that the patient is currently on can be pre-populated on this screen. During the beta, you need to add these medications manually. Let's go ahead and add a medication. First, select the Add Medicine button. Type in the medicine that you are interested in adding. Then select the medicine from the list, and then the dose for the medicine. Next, indicate what the medicine is for, the schedule, the dose, and then the frequency. Lipitor is usually given once at bedtime, and then click Save. The medicine appears as shown here. If I now want to add a second medicine, let's say I want to add cortisone, select the medicine you want, the indication for the medicine, if I want to modify the name as shown here, because this is somewhat long, I can double click on it, and then I can come in here and change the label as shown here. Let's add a medicine that should be taken as needed. So let's choose Vicodin. Let's choose the 500. Let's say this is for their back pain, to be used as needed. And this is often given 1 to 2 every 4 to 6 hours. Let's change the title again. And for Vicodin, it's also important to make sure that they're not taking too many pills. So we can also go under details and select any items within any of these categories. For this particular one, I may want to tell the patient not to take more than 8 pills in a day. That information is now added to the right-hand side. Let's add one last medicine for Foradil. And Foradil is a dry powdered inhaler which is given for COPD. Let's say this should be used every day. This is 1 puff and then twice daily. And let's also clean this up as well. You notice that for this particular medicine, there is a little TV that appears on the right-hand side. If I click on this little TV, I can now view a demonstration of how to use Foradil in the patient's language. Once this loads, select the language that you wish to play, and then click play.
以下步驟將說明 Foradil Aerolyzer 嘅使用方式。Aerolyzer 係吸入器嘅一種，可以將藥物轉化。
So this provides you the ability to provide demonstrations to patients on proper medication techniques in the patient's language. If I now want to print this information in the selected language, I just select the language and then click Summary. And the PDF document appears as shown here. You can see that this is a very effective way of creating an adherence schedule for the patient to follow. By printing this out and keeping this on the refrigerator door or by their bedside, we believe that this will actually improve medication adherence among patients with low health literacy and among LEP patients. I hope that you enjoyed this demonstration of Meducation's beta release. We will be adding new features as we go along, and all registered individuals will get email updates of the progress that we make. If you have any questions, please send me a feedback by clicking on this link on the Start page. Thank you very much for viewing this demonstration.